Got a good video for you guys today. This is a goalie member game, T-Bash 42 playing the black pieces in a Caro-Kann. And he has a brilliant move coming up in this game. I love looking at the brilliant moves. So the game starts e4, c6, d4, d5. This is Caro-Kann. Knight to c3. This is called the classical variation. D takes, knight f6. This is the Tartakower defense. This is what we recommend in our ChessGoals Caro-Kann course. Knight takes, e takes. Even though we have doubled pawns, if you haven't seen the Tartakower before, this allows both bishops to be opened up immediately, and black can get some quick play with the pieces. So it's a very strong system for black, even though at first glance you would think, why double the pawns? Bishop to d6, bishop c4, castle. So black is castled first. The bishop is pointing at h2. Gives good attacking potential for black. Castle, rook e8. So rook just immediately jumps on the open file. Rook e1 for white. Now bishop to g4. Excellent move. Pins the knight to the queen. And that's going to set up some additional attacking chances on this h2 square. And oftentimes white will play h3, which actually makes a target on h3 for our bishop to potentially capture later on. So here white plays bishop to e3. T-Bash plays pawn to b5. Stockfish says inaccuracy, opportunity maybe to develop that knight instead. Bishop to b3. Now the knight comes out, knight to d7. h3, trying to kick the bishop. Bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, queen c7. All right, so we can see that black is kind of eyeing this h2 square, but there's no pawn there currently. So I think trading the bishop on f3 did give white a small advantage. I tend to recommend after h3 bringing this bishop back, then maybe playing knight d7, queen up, and then we have the queen and knight lined up on this diagonal, hitting the h3 pawn. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm looking at Stockfish here. Stockfish actually says maybe bishop to h5 is the strongest. So keep that bishop on the board. Don't give your opponent the bishop pair so easily, T-Bash, by taking on f3. So I think that'd be a good constructive takeaway so far in this game. We had bishop takes f3, queen takes, queen c7. Now white plays d5. This is an inaccuracy, and T-Bash handles it perfectly. Pawn to c5, threatening to trap the bishop on b3. So T-Bash is playing for the initiative, already threatening this bishop trap. White plays pawn to a3, but this looks ugly. Now the bishop is going to go back to a2 when it's trapped in by the pawn on c4. I don't like that at all. So here T-Bash plays aggressive. I love it. Knight to e5, kicking the queen, playing for the initiative. Queen goes back. Now pawn to c4. Another strong move. Hitting the bishop. Bishop only has one square. So look at how black just keeps pushing those pieces up the board, and white's pieces keep going back up, defending, going back to the second rank. You can just feel the momentum in black's favor. And this is only a small advantage for black according to the computer. But watch how T-Bash capitalizes on this small advantage. Rook e7. So there's a plan here. Rook e8. Another thing that you learn from the Tartakower from the black side is how to play patiently, right? Look at what T-Bash is doing. A couple moves to grab the initiative, attack the queen, attack the bishop. Now simple improvement moves. Let's get that a8 rook into the game. So all of our pieces are going to be in the game. We got good pressure coming down the e file. We might push the f pawn up. We don't have to rush. And where is white's counterplay coming from? The extra pawn, even though it is a passed pawn, it's stuck there on d5. White has to figure out a plan. And oftentimes when there's not a clear plan, that's when opponents make blunders. They make their own mistakes. They make their own weaknesses. That's exactly what white does here. Look at this move. I see this time and time again. Opponent's uncomfortable. They don't have a plan. They make their own weaknesses. And oftentimes it's a pawn move. So f4 creates weaknesses down the e file. That pawn used to help defend e3 and guard the g3 square. Now that king is a bit exposed for white. Knight to g6 played. And look at this. Triple attack on the f4 pawn, only defended by the bishop, but the bishop is pinned to the queen. So now white plays g3. Another mistake. This is just opening up the white king even more. If we check the engine here, instead of g3, maybe queen to f3 would be best. But really, it's not a good position for white. Black already has a 4.5 point advantage. So at this point, we had g3 played. Rook A to E8. Continuing the plan. Excellent move. Doubling the rooks on the bishop on E3. White plays Queen F2. Okay, so it looks like White's defending everything, right? Queen and Rook guard the bishop. But now I want you to find the brilliant move here that T-Bash found in the game. All right, it was Rook takes E3. If you found that, nice job. Rook takes E3. Brilliancy by T-Bash. I love this move. After Rook takes E3 back, Rook takes E3, Queen takes E3. It looks like at first glance, White's up the exchange, right? Why did Black give up the exchange just to do all those trades? But it's this finishing move. Bishop to C5. And bishop to C5 was an instant resign by White. So beautiful game by T-Bash. I thought you did an awesome job playing for the initiative. Then you finished off with a brilliant move. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game, and we'll see you in the next video.